All right. Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I am doing amazing. Okay, awesome. So, you all, welcome to another edition of Model Talk Tuesdays. Sorry that I got to a little bit of a rough start. It's been a minute since we've done Model Talk Tuesday, and I had to get myself together with at least some decent lighting. So, I'm super excited because we have an amazing guest. Who I'm hope is becoming a friend. You all, I'm in friend phase this season. Miss Sara Naomi, yes. How
Yes,
are you?
I'm doing great, Pearl. Thank you for having me. Of course, I consider you a friend. We go back.
Yeah.
Thank you again for having me on. Um, Hello, all the pearls.
Yes, yes. Shout out to all the pearls. So let's see. Let me get on the YouTube platform because we are live, and then they're also going to get it as a link for class. So, Sara, we have the academy, and I know we talked about you teaching there, hopefully. So I would love for the students to kind of get to know you, on this interview that we're doing.
Okay.
And let's start from the beginning. Like, why modeling? Where are you from and why modeling? How did you even get into that? Just so we can have a foundation.
Well, I'm from North Carolina. I'm from Rockingham, North Carolina, a small country town. And I moved to Atlanta in 2008 when I was 18. I started a little bit later than most models. I think I got started around 19 or 20. And for me, modeling was just like an outlet. It was a form of physical expression. I'm not very verbal about things that I'm feeling. I tend to like to bottle it up. But there was just something about modeling the body movements and the way the pictures read. It allowed me to communicate things without having to really say anything. So that was like the core of what really got me started.
I think that's wonderful. I think that's awesome, being able to express yourself, because are you saying you're an introvert?
I am a severe introvert. I have not been out of my house all day today, and I'm wonderful for it. I'm perfectly fine. When the pandemic started, I was like, cool, nobody's gonna be inviting me anywhere for a long time. But I'm very much an introvert. I can be in my house to myself. I love my things. You know how high rent is. I pay to be in the house now, and it's just I like it like that. But I think that's the appeal from modeling too, is that we don't have to talk. We just we can do our expressions, do our art, and get out of there.
Yeah, so they say we're like silent actresses in some cases.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to go into that because you actually acted in you're an actress as
Yes.
well.
As I say all that about not having to talk, I have been trying to explore some acting.
So tell us about that as well. And then also how important you feel, or because I feel like it's important, that models in Atlanta also learn the craft of acting.
So I'll start with that. Why it's so important for models to be able to now be able to portray themselves on camera, and because it's mostly the field has gotten so commercial now. Everything is filmed. Um, Even the first time that I really realized how much the industry was shifting was when I went to Cape Town the first time on placement. Those auditions over there were mostly commercial auditions, and it's such a I thought, because I considered myself to be a pretty good model, that I could just cruise on over into acting and it would be seamless. Not at all. As soon as I stepped onto the set, they knew I didn't know what I was doing. They immediately were like, you're a model, aren't you? And I was like, of course I am, thinking it's a compliment. And they're like, thank you for your time, girl. And when I got back here, I said, okay, let's get some classes going. And I really realized what a difference it is just from beginning to end, the acting world. And the way that was kind of, so when I got back to Cape Town, I realized like, okay, you got to step your game up with these auditions. Because one of the things as models, we're constantly moving. That's what we do. We're the movement. We're the movement artists. We create a mood with our bodies. On film, they didn't want all that. They thought that I had like a weird twitch going on because I couldn't keep my eyes in one place. Because for us, it's all about angles. And
Right.
I was giving them all the angles, honey. He was like, I can't even get my camera to focus because you will not stop moving. And it was inbred in me by that time because I had been doing it for like 8 years. I could not be still. So it took a few acting classes for me to hammer that stuff out and to really see myself from an acting point of view. But Tyler Perry was a really good experience just for me to get myself into the field and use my voice to portray my art. It was very intimidating, but after the intimidation just came like this badass feeling, like I did that and my body looked good and I did that and it's coming out and I'm about to have some credits and I'm on a real thing. And I did that. I put myself out there. I didn't think I was going to get it. I did it just because it felt good to me and I got it. And it was just acting really, I was like, okay, this is a new thing I can explore and have fun with.
I'm glad that you did it. I don't know why I'm glad you did it. I guess I'm just like, so for you all that are tuned in, welcome to Model Talk Tuesdays. We're with the amazing Sara Naomi. We getting all in her tea, right? Because we can't keep it all surface, you all. Come on now. We need the tea. So you all were talking. Yes, we're talking to Sara Naomi about her role in Ruthless with Tyler Perry. And for those of you that had a chance to see it, unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to see it. They are nude in several scenes, right? Am I correct? Yes. So I would ask you, if you auditioned for Tyler Perry and he selected you and said, hey, you just got to, the role calls for you to be nude. What would you do? So, and not to say that it is a big decision, but depending on people's background, it can be, right?
Yeah, like, it can be a huge decision. And even for me, like I had to think about it because that's not in modeling. I'm not like the sexy girl who's, does a lot of bikinis. I don't know why, because I think I'm sexy, but I tend to be more like commercial stuff, big smiles, I'm the friendly model. So it was off-putting to now be in front of, and it was not a nude scene in private. It was a nude scene in front of an entire crowd. It simulated sex scene. And it was very intimidating at first, but I was glad I did it because, obviously on set, that set was safe. I won't say things won't happen to you on set because I always want girls to keep a cautious mindset in anywhere. But that particular set was very safe. My scene partner ended up, we're still close friends to this day. Going forward, I don't know how many nude roles I would take because I don't want to be typecast as that. And just as I've been studying like different things, I'm seeing that it's easy to get typecast in certain things. But I think if you're open to that and your background is open to it and you don't think it'll be like a damaging thing for your family, that you can try it. I definitely sent out warnings to my family. I was like, don't watch this with our younger cousins. Don't watch it with the babies in the house. Like, you don't really have to watch it. You can wait for my next thing to come out because this is not the family thing.
Yay. Okay. Man, what was the thought that was in my head? It was the thought that was in my head as you were talking about Ruthless. Oh, okay. So I recently had an expo, you all. Shout out to Southern Black Girls Consortium and YIB for being our sponsors. We had an expo at the Carter Center. It was amazing, Sara Naomi. And the reason I'm bringing it up because one of the guests is currently on Atlanta Housewives as one of Candy's friends. Now, okay. I don't watch Atlanta Housewives, but since Manetta Shaw Carter, shout out to her, is on it, I was like, let me start watching it. So then I go back seasons and seasons, and I'm like, wait a minute. That is my girl. And if I had time, I was going to try to like screen video it so that the students can see. I said, that's Sara right now. So my question is, how do you climb from, because you always obviously was able, get in that space. How were you able to climb from that to where you are now? And do you feel that of course you've climbed, but what has been the journey?
With that, honestly, I've just been putting one foot forward the entire time. Just, taking each opportunity as it comes, engaging it and seeing how it will serve me. That I remember what you're talking about, that particular episode, girl. I was young in the game when I did that episode. My brother actually went with me to that casting and we were there, and I know you saw the scene when I got in there. and it was a runway thing. And they're like, oh, am I okay? Because she was asking about my pit bulls and my tattoo. But I would say from there, it's just all about growth, taking advantage of your opportunities. Right around that time, I learned how important it was to say no to some things because I think back then I may have been freelance. And on the urban side of things, it's really about networking and who you know, and putting your face in as many places as possible. And right around that time, I think I may have been either about to come back from Egypt or go to Egypt. I realized that who you say no to is just as important as who you say yes to. And I think that was pivotal in my career, because all of a sudden you couldn't see me everywhere and I wasn't working with everybody, which was a change from what I had been doing. And it changes the vibe around your availability. It gives you a little bit more exclusivity, and then people know, like, I have to go through certain channels to get to this person. And so that kind of was what took my career to the next level, was when I started being a little bit more exclusive with my time.
That's like 100. I'm taking that advice for myself, like not only in this career, but just, across paths. Like, yeah, when you pay attention to your time more, time management is number one, it's priority, being exclusive. So how did you shift from being freelance to having an agent, and what advice can you give to, models that are looking to transition? Because there's a lot of freelance models out there. And I agree with you, the urban market, you have to network and be at, certain events and things.
Gotta be moving.
Yes, that's just the kind of, culture it is. So yeah. So what would you recommend to models that are not signed but are looking to get signed?
For models that are not signed, Atlanta's a very different place from other markets. I would say for models here, you really have to pay attention to these agencies. Don't just go off of what they're showing you. One of the biggest things I always tell models is ask other models what they have going on. When you go to an agency page and you see their page, that's what they want you to see. I usually don't even pay that much attention to that. I go to the tag page, because that's the stuff that you don't have as much control over, what you're affiliated with. And one of the big things that I do when I go and I'm checking out new agencies is I will go through their website, find the girls that look like me, and then I will go to their pages and I will see what kind of work are they doing. This is one of the things that I always teach my models in my classes. Do not fall for the okie doke of she's doing a lot of test shoots. The test shoots look amazing. She's standing around with these people. These things look amazing. That's fun, but what jobs is she working? What jobs does this agency have her booked on? And the reason that I say I look at people that look like me is because somebody else could be having a totally different experience. And usually people do have totally different experiences. Even girls who look like me with the same agency, their experiences may be different, but at least you have somewhat of an idea of who that agent may have for you, what kind of clients they may have, what your experience may be. And then if I'm not finding what I want to find within the first couple of girls, I'll go away. I won't even keep looking. But if I'm not finding, then you may want to take the next step and reach out and ask a model, hey, what do you think about this agency? You've been with them for this long. Like, what's your vibe? What are you getting off of them? And I will say, just always keep in mind what your goals are and what you want out of your career, and keep that in the forefront of your mind, because things happen in this industry, things change, things shift, life happens. You already know life happens, and you can get off of your track really easily.
Well, shout out to Jessica. I see you. Thank you for your comment. She said great advice. This might have been, yeah. So thank you, Jessica, for tuning in. So yeah, right. Okay. Over here telling it. In terms of climbing, you had mentioned just putting one foot in front of the other. And then with the agency, hold on one second. I just want to make sure that I'm following my question list for you. I know one of the things, what has been some of your biggest lessons that you've learned in this whole journey?
So actually, one of my biggest lessons has been in regards to putting one foot in front of the other. My biggest lesson has just been to remain in ownership. And I'll say that in life as well, not just in modeling. Always keep in mind what you want, what's in line with your spirit, because if you don't, then you leave that up to someone else. And it could play out in your favor or it cannot. But if it doesn't, you won't have anybody to blame but yourself because you weren't taking ownership.
I'm 100% of that. It's like, I think Jay-Z had this song called, he did it based on a Frank Sinatra song, I Did It My Way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, because I want to die saying that I was standing up and not on my knees. Like I want to live full. Yeah. So
stand for something will fall for anything.
yes. Wow. Okay. So you've been talking about tips on e-commerce, like in our previous conversation that we had. It felt like that was something that you were passionate about. So what can you tell us about e-commerce, and if you don't mind, some tips that models can gain from e-commerce and how to get to it, even if they don't have an agent? Because I know a couple of models that I don't know. They're like, I don't have an agent. I'm just getting these by promoting myself. So just
they work.
Yeah.
I will say I'm passionate about e-com because what e-com pays compared to the other market or other divisions in modeling. Some of them be slim pickings and tight fisted with the check, but e-com is a business. They will pay you. It may take 90 days, but they will pay you. And it's usually a reasonable rate. And you don't have to do a lot of yanking and pulling on people to get the money you deserve. That's why I like it, because it's less stress on me. I feel like fashion, I got to worry about being stick thin and being in the right market. And after you do all that, do you even have money? And it's like, that's what I'm not really, at my age, I'm not worried about. I don't want to be stressed out. E-com is the easier route for me with that. And I will say the biggest thing about e-com is just getting clients to rebook. Your portfolio in the first place has to be at a place where they will book you at. And then after that, it's getting on set and really selling yourself to say, I'm your girl, I'm that girl. And your clients are going to want to buy what they see on me, and I'm going to make your day easy. And we're going to get all bazillion shots that we need. And it's not going to take until 6 p.m. We're going to be out of here at 4 o'clock. That's been usually how I keep my e-com clients. They know when I show up to get us out of here a half hour early, and I'm not going to try to overcomplicate things. I think that the big difference in e-com and everything else is how simple it is pose wise. That's hard for people to adjust to. I think when they come from freelance or from fashion, they think that, I have to make a moment in every photo, and none of those moments are about you. They might cut half your face off. Let's just get the shirt and the pants, get the photo, and get it, and then do the creative stuff for yourself.
I just want to comment on the cutting your face off, because I'd be ready to see those pictures. Like, I got an e-com job. I'm ready to see these pictures.
You think you can get something for your book?
Head be cut off, and it's just like, what in the heck is this?
I can tell my skin looked nice from how my arm looks. If only I could see the rest of my face. Shame, shame, shame.
Oh, goodness. Okay, awesome. All right. So, you said that they pay reasonable. That's awesome. And that's a space. I've also heard that, people are setting up their own home photography spaces for that type of thing. Are you familiar with that kind of trend?
Yes. UGC user generated content is the new thing that I'm sighing about. It used to be acting, and now it's user generated content. It's basically just influencers, people who have the setup at home. They have a real microphone, real cameras, real equipment, and they can give you studio quality images at home. I don't do as much user generated content. It's such a new thing for me. I feel like whenever you have something new, you have to let it sit in the market a little bit so people can work out some regulations around it. For me, whenever you do user generated content or you're doing a home shoot, you've taken on the job of the photographer, the makeup artist, the hairstylist, set production. You've taken on all those people. And I rarely ever hear that you're getting paid for all those people, which is why I tend to not be involved so much in user generated content, because I dabble in photography, but I'm not a photographer. I can do my own makeup, but I'm not a makeup artist. And if I now have to do those things to a professional grade for a professional shoot, I need to be getting paid a professional rate because those things are not cheap to do. You already know it's not cheap to put all this equipment in your house and have all that stuff at the ready. And then, it's time consuming. A lot of user generated stuff they want. It's not a one set deal. It's, so many posts for so much time, or shoot for a week straight or something like that. So I'm just watching that part of the industry. I'm also not a fan of taking pictures in my house. I don't like people seeing the inside of my house. I'm paranoid like that. I'm a little bit old school. So I'm just kind of sitting back watching, seeing what they're doing with that.
Okay. Well, you all, again, we're tuning in with Sara Naomi, Model Talk Tuesdays. I see 13 you have all 13 streaming now. Ask a question. Feel free to ask a question. We have about 5 minutes left on this platform with the amazing Sara Naomi. And you all, Sara Naomi, are you open to, any of the students contacting you if they wanted information about
Absolutely.
you? And if that's so, how could they go about doing that?
They can DM me on Instagram, Sara Naomi 1. I may take, a day or two to get back to them, but I'm always open. I gotta say that up front. I'm a terrible texter, y'all. I'm that person who looks at the text message and thinks I sent a response and I didn't. But
I hate when that happens. It's like, wait, I thought I sent it. And
I'll be walking around like, so they're just not going to text me back. And I never text them in the first place. But they can DM me, ask me anything. And I'll be Sara Naomi 1. I'll get back to everybody.
Okay, awesome. Well, you all, I just wanted to share some photos of the wonderful Miss Sara Naomi. So I picked a few, but look, she has an entire catalog. You can follow her on Instagram. You can follow her on Facebook. Who shot these?
Oh gosh, those were shot by, I did a test shoot. I'm gonna have to look. I have them tagged because I think those are a year or two old. Yeah, and it was so fun. I did those. There was another model there from the agency. Naja was with me that day, and so we have some together shots from that shoot.
Yes. It was like you were her big sister.
Yes, I love her.
Yeah, she's awesome. OMG, she's awesome. Okay, yeah, and then come on, though, come through. Okay, of course, Curlbox. I had to put Curlbox because you have shot multiple covers with Curlbox. So when we talk about having clients come back, because that was something that you discussed, how this is an example, obviously. Yes.
Now this is one thing where it's good to be a networker. I'm glad I still have my freelance networking skills because the previous ones that I shot with this were with a friend of mine, Alan Cooley, and he shot regularly with that client. And I shoot regularly with Alan. So it was he was like, I need somebody, come on in. I know you'll get me in and out with the shot. Building that rapport, he already knows how I get down. He was like, yeah, I know we're going to be out of here, so just come through. Now, Marcus Ezell shot this particular photo, and I think Curlbox may have just known me from there before they reached out to the agency and booked me on this, but I also shot with Marcus before. So it was, I was comfortable with both of those photographers and the team by that point because I worked with Curlbox a couple of times, and they're a really great team. But that's why it's good to, if you're going to be freelance and you're going to be networking, pay attention to who you're shooting with, what they have going on. Do they have clients? Do they have connections? Will your face being on their page be a benefit for you? And it can. I think my face is probably on everybody's page at this point, but just building that rapport. This particular photographer and the one who shot this cover, they know they can text me and just be like, "Hey, Sara, pull up," and I'm gonna be there.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. Networking, and then also having like a tight-knit community of creatives that know that you're at a certain level, A-listers, and that you can depend on each other. So that's awesome. Yeah. I love this shoot with
Dalvin.
Tell us about this.
Dalvin Adams shot this whole androgynous series was all Dalvin. And it's so funny. That's his suit. That's a man's suit that I have on. He let me put on his whole outfit, which I love. I love wearing men's clothes. And he's just like, I don't know if you can fit my jacket. I was like, I'll wear it. And then we went outside and did that. And he's an amazing photographer. He's in LA now. But this was a day we had already shot something else, I think, maybe. And he hit me up and was like, let's test. And he had a great team. I may have already had those braids in. I can't remember because I can braid my own hair too.
I saw, which is awesome, but go ahead, keep going. Yes.
You gotta be able to. But I just pulled up and he was like, yeah, this works. Like, let's get some androgynous stuff. And I meant to shoot with him in LA. He's just a wonderful guy though. He's a great photographer. And that's too, after you've been in this so long, like you do have a community of photographers. He's doing so well in LA now. And it's just so great to see like all of these, especially these Black photographers from Atlanta, grow and pick up these clienteles and be able to maintain themselves and be, those guys for the industry. Like, I just love watching them grow through everything. Oh, look at Melissa.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is Melissa. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, this was just a touch on the acting piece, but yeah, how they've grown, and then everyone's growing and being able to network and build, and I love that as well. It's like, okay, it's our time. It's our time in terms of. When I say it's our time, it's just as long as we continue to grow and evolve. So, right. Sarah, we have one question that came in, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. What is next for Sara Naomi?
Ooh, what is next for Sara Naomi? I don't know. Honestly, I never know what's next for me. Just the next opportunity. I'll keep you guys posted. I'm always trying to travel, always trying to make new connections. I tell models, don't set yourself a ceiling by telling yourself, this is what I have to achieve next. I'm just open for whatever opportunities the universe is going to send my way. Especially, how modeling is. We do jobs, job by job. We never know what's going to come up next, but just taking advantage of all opportunities and growth. And like we talked about earlier, coming into terms with ownership of just my career and myself, just in life, and figuring out, what do I want for myself? That's what's next. I'm lightly considering where to go next. I may have another travel thing coming up, but we'll see.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. That's awesome. I think it's great that you're seeing the world. I think it's great.
Yeah,
I
feel really,
seeing the world.
Really privileged. Just be able to pop around and do it. And I hope that people know, like, it's easier than what it looks like. We all can do this. We all can travel and work. And the markets are so different in different places. Even if you're having a hard time in one market, give yourself a chance in another market, because that might be the one for you. Cape Town was a breath of fresh air for me market-wise, because I had been trying to get placed in different markets here, and it was, your hips are a little bit hippie and this and that. And then I got to Cape Town and they were like, your body is perfect. Do not lose any weight whatsoever, or else we won't be able to use you. And it was like, oh, I was just in a weird market that whole time.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Amen. All right, you all, let's thank the amazing Sara Naomi again. Girl, thank you for your amazing answers, your wisdom, your intelligence, your beauty, your radiance and grace. Okay, you all. So go ahead and follow Sara Naomi. Can we get that Instagram again?
Yes, it is Sara Naomi 1, no H on Sarah. And I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has. Just hit me up. Like I said, I'm not the best texter, but I will hit you back.
Okay. Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You all have a great evening.